And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, manager at WEIU TV and Radio. Today we're going to be talking all things Mattoon Chamber. Ed Dowd, Executive Director, is here. Welcome, Ed.
Welcome. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Carolyn, Cloyd, Executive Director or Executive Assistant at the Mattoon Chamber. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you're also going to talk a little bit about one of your other activities.
Yes.
Run for the Fallen.
Correct.
So kind of a double show today here at WEIU. So many things going on, Ed, right now in Mattoon. Let's start with all the construction and kind of where we stand on some of the stuff that's happening construction-wise out there by the Emerald Acres and even downtown and everywhere else.
Yeah, it's so exciting that we have so much going on downtown. They finishing up the streetscaping. They're finishing the last two blocks. We just got done. It's so fantastic. A company is fixing the corner of 15th and Broadway. They're going to make it look beautiful. We've got Thai Noodle coming back, and there's going to be a couple new businesses that haven't been named yet. So real exciting stuff downtown. They're almost done with the school at St. John's Lutheran, and they're even talking about doing a ribbon cutting there. So that's real exciting. That building went up fast. And of course, the complex, we just drove by there on our way here today, and just amazing how fast things are going. They're talking about having some of the restaurants open by October, maybe even, and then some of the retail, they definitely want to be open by well before the holiday season so that they can capture all those sales. But it's just amazing. I think it's almost a dozen different businesses are going to be opening up. It's just fantastic what's going on. So
that is really, really good news when you think about it. Now, Emerald Acres, is it on task? Is everything going?
Yeah, everything's going on task. They are wanting to have it open by mid-November, and they're talking about even before the end of the year having some events there. We're hoping to have our community update breakfast there in December, where we have everyone come in, and we're going to hopefully have Tyler Yoder, who's the new general manager, be our speaker. I mean, it's just a beautiful facility, 146,000 square feet. There's going to be multifunction flooring. So not only can you do sporting events, you can do other events as well. So just going to be fantastic. What a beautiful site for people coming. There's 28,000 cars that pass that and the interchange there, and they're going to see Mattoon's really making an impact.
And Tyler and Blake Pierce are going to be here within the next 6 weeks or so for a show.
Awesome.
So
we'll
learn a little bit more about some of the details of what's happening in Emerald Acres. Carolyn, before we get to the chamber stuff for you, the Run for the Fallen has been a passion of yours now. I can't believe it's already the 15th year.
I know, yeah, the 15th year. It started here in Charleston in 2010.
So talk about this year's Run for the Fallen, when, where, why, and how, and all that stuff.
It is August 17th, and the event starts at 7 a.m., and it goes until 1 p.m. It's not competitive. You can come at any time during those hours. We tell everyone, we just ask you to walk or run 1 mile for a fallen service member, and you can do 1 mile, you can do 10. We also provide little cards that have a bio and an image of the person you're walking or running for. And we do have a lot of Gold Star families that come and participate in this. The big thing is we want to let everyone know when we started this, we were having this event at the Charleston High School track. And last year we had to, at the last minute, change locations because something was going on at the track. And so the city offered us the new Linder Sports Complex, which we were the first event held there. And it was overwhelmingly a positive experience. Everyone told us how much they loved it. So this year it'll be at the Linder Sports Complex again.
Do you think it's a little bit better there, a little more accessible and all that? How's it work?
I think everybody loved the school. It was great. One thing they said, though, nobody ever complained at the time, but they're like, that asphalt is just hot. When you're out in the sun and it's black asphalt and it's just hot. I think people did like the open space, though, at Linder Sports Complex because we mapped out 3 different routes. One was a quarter mile, one was a half mile, or you could run around the entire complex and do a mile. And so people, they didn't feel like they were so, bogged down, clogged up with other people there.
How many runners did you have last year? Do you remember?
We had about 500 runners, but we had 862 miles, I think it was. So our goal every year is to make sure that every fallen service member from Illinois is accounted for, and since the beginning they have been accounted for at least twice, if not more. So
what led you to this just being kind of one of your things? I mean, you do so much for our communities, but I know this one's really special to you.
This one is special. It's just I just think we cannot do enough for not only the people that serve, but particularly the families and the people who sacrifice their lives for our freedom. It's just a very easy but powerful way to honor those people. And it's just very special. The people that have come, we have people that come back every single year. So,
is this something you think you'll continue to do year after year?
Every year we say this. We're like, okay, are we going to do it? And we say, okay, as long as people come, we'll do it.
Okay.
So.
And a couple of things that she didn't mention. What amazes me is there are people who will start at 7 a.m. and they want to run. And they run literally the whole time. One guy ran how many miles?
Well, we have 17 miles last year,
Wow.
but he lost a nephew. And so he's always one of the first people there, and he just walks the entire event. He'll do a mile. He might do 5 miles. He'll come back in. He'll get more cards, get more flags, because you get to plant a flag and ring the bell.
For each mile.
For each person that you've walked or run for. One thing I do have to say, because it's the little things, right? When we moved out to Linder Sports Complex, we had this way that we did it. You walked your mile, you planted a flag, you rang the bell out at the Charleston school track. And so we were like, oh, we're not going to have a bell. I mean, it's such a small thing, but somebody said, I've got a bell, and then this guy fixed it up, put it on a pole so you can still ring the bell.
That's awesome. People always come through.
And what's great is, like she said, you can walk. I mean, I don't run anymore, but I'm able to walk. My wife and I come. And what's neat is to see little kids. They have little kids in strollers, little kids, who are walking. So that it's very powerful to see them, and you can tell that they really learn how important it is to do that. So
you
it's
see
great.
Parents with the cards, and because we give them the cards with the bio, and you see them as they're planting the flags, actually reading the names, reading the cards to them. And one thing that really touched me a couple of years, we have a lot of sports teams, and we had the Eastern girls, or women's, I'm sorry, one of the Eastern women's sports teams. And as we were handing out the cards and the flags, the girls that had theirs were standing aside, and one of them took took the card she had, and she's reading it. She goes, oh my God, she said, this guy is my age. It never occurred to her that these young people were going out and dying for our freedom. And it really struck her. It struck us. We were all crying. It was just, it was remarkable.
That's cool. That's
and one other thing I got to give Steve Pamperin. Steve
Oh, yeah,
Pamperin.
he's good.
You got to give him some credit, because last year it was like drought season, and the ground was hard as a rock. He took a drill, and he had at least 3 or 4 rechargeable batteries, and he would drill holes so we could all plant the flags, because it wouldn't go in the ground without it. And he spent
He spent the whole
the whole morning and afternoon, drilling holes, and it was really nice of him to do all that. So
that's a good story. Yeah. Another good story is, I'm going to let you tell it. You told me in Carolyn off mic, but the Kingspan, which is a new business that is coming to Mattoon, is what they do and how they do it. Explain.
Yes.
Where, and all that.
So we didn't know a whole lot about Kingspan. I did find out Gabor Nagy was his name. He came in. He was originally from Hungary, and now he lives in the United States in Florida. Great guy. He had all kinds of interesting, tidbits of information. Well, what he said is Kingspan's a multi-international company. They have over 400 locations worldwide. And a couple things that he said was, one, they work for high-tech manufacturers, like chip manufacturers, things like that, places like that. They have to have very high standards in their buildings. They can't have anything flammable, nothing that's sparkable, nothing that can cause any kind of combustion. So they had to come up with a way to make insulation panels to keep it warm or cold in these facilities. So they developed a program that they turn rock, which of course isn't flammable, into wool. How they do it, I don't know, but the equipment that does this comes from Italy. They have to ship it in pieces to Mattoon to build it. It's just amazing. Yeah, and so we're going to have a manufacturer that's going to make rock wool in our community.
With no sheep. You talked about Thai Noodle is close to reopening then?
Yeah, Thai Noodle's going to be coming back. They're going to be on the corner of, like I mentioned before, 15th and Broadway. It's going to be gorgeous. They patterned it after like Beverly Hills. They're going to make it look beautiful, that corner. And there's a couple other businesses coming there that we're not sure of, but just real exciting. We got Thai Noodle coming. We have all the things coming at the sports complex. Villa just recently opened up, so a lot of great things happening.
Have you checked out the new villa with the buffet?
Yes,
now?
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
So they
It's,
finally
I
got
missed that so much. I'm sure you
We went there like the second day, which I usually would always wait, but the family wanted to go. No, it's definitely a nice addition and brings more business and everything to that part of town. So that's good news. New sports training facility is tentatively coming to Mattoon. For anything about that? Not that's going to be out there by the hammer and nail. I can't think of it.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I've heard that too. So
A new sports training facility.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
so which is kind of an like the first offshoot business of
Oh,
Emerald
yeah.
Acres, where
Yeah.
they can probably rent out their building for batting practice and stuff before games and tournaments, and so and then also
Absolutely.
use it locally for local teams.
Well, a
and-
lot of
and
people
train.
don't know that Sarah Bush is actually going to have their walk-in clinic
Yeah.
inside as part of the facility, which makes total sense because with sports, there's going to be chances for kids to get injured, so they're going to have the ability to get their treatment there, along with the community is going to have a chance to go out to the sports complex, and of course they're going to be traveling on what road?
On Waddell Way,
That's very
named
cool.
after our friend Ken Waddell.
Yes, God rest his soul, man.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you talked a little bit off mic also about you guys do some stuff for the charitable corporation that's part of your, the Mattoon Chamber of Commerce. Talk about what people can do to apply for funds from charitable things, and how you kind of access some of those funds and get them.
Yeah, so briefly, we've had two different community members. One actually didn't even live in Mattoon. Her name was Carrie Young, and part of her will, she said she loved Mattoon so much, she was so enthralled with Mattoon that she wanted to give some of her money. She gave around $200,000 in as part of her will to the Mattoon Chamber of Commerce, and she wanted it for recreational and entertainment things for the betterment of Mattoon, for
Arts.
people.
She particularly
Arts, yeah.
wanted to help with
Parks and Recreation. And the amazing thing is it was invested so properly since 1984 that we're over $900,000 since its inception, and we still have $400,000 that we give each year. It's all for non-for-profits, again, related to Parks and Recreation. We also just received a gentleman who was just kind of, lived here, didn't have any family, didn't have any relatives around here. He was from Canada, worked for the Ameren Lines. He decided to give us $250,000. Now we're hoping, we don't know all the details yet, but we're hoping it might expand a little bit more for non-for-profits, so it's not just related to Parks and Rec, because there's a lot of non-for-profits who do such good work who might not be related to that, so we can maybe expand our reach. And it's just so rewarding to be able to give these people money. We've given to the Y, we've given to, there's virtually every organization, Kiwanis, Rotary, and all these organizations do such good work, and it's great to see some of the things that have come to it. The Cunningham Park, we gave some money for that, the band shell, things like that, Friendship Gardens we've given some to that, so it's just wonderful that the Chamber is able to, people feel good enough about the Chamber that we're going to be good stewards of that money, and we're going to make sure it gets to the right people.
We're talking to Ed Dowd and Carolyn Cloyd today on Issues and Attitudes. The other event that will be happening this fall, Business Expo 24. The Taste will also be involved of it after it had to take a year off. So both of you can talk about the Business Expo 2024.
So we're real excited. We're really pushing to get the Taste back. It's a bit of a challenge, as you know, because we talk about a lot of businesses have struggles with people coming to the event who can help serve, because we usually have 15 different taste vendors, and that's really the most important part of the expo. So we're really working hard. We're going to make some different unique changes. We might have a lot of food trucks who can cook their stuff on site and then bring it into the taste. We're looking at that. We're looking at all kinds of options. But again, that's really the bread and butter of the expo, along with the 100+ vendors we usually have at the expo. Again, it's an awesome networking event. We usually have 2,000 to 3,000 people attend. I don't know what else.
No, it's just it's like you said, a great networking event. People always tell us that they love to have the public come through, but one of the biggest benefits is going around to the other businesses and networking, seeing what everyone's doing. So
And maybe find out stuff you don't even know is in Mattoon with everything that's changed over the past, really 2-3 years post-COVID with all the different, businesses that have popped up, business changes and things like that. You talked about some new businesses down the road coming. Are any other businesses right now reinvesting or making changes or additions or doing any work around town?
Yeah, now, it's been a little while, but as you know, which is fantastic, some of our stalwart businesses have been expanding and growing, like Bimbo Bakery. Now not only do they make Lender's bagels, which a lot of people still don't even realize that they make 2 million bagels a day out of that facility. They're also making Thomas's bagels. So they expanded and they have a Thomas's line. Mars Pet Care. A lot of people don't know that is the #1 dog food manufacturing facility in all of North America, not just United States, all of North America. And they expanded and they're doing the Temptation cat treats too. So, it's just great that all these different buildings, people are investing, not only just, staying, but investing and growing in our community, along with places like Kingspan. And, we're hoping a few others come down the line. It's just so rewarding that all these different businesses are, taking their time to invest in our community. So
I also saw a little bit of you got a write-up about the housing remote workers plan. I did not do a lot of research on that, so I'm going to let you just talk about that and the recent success of that.
Sure, I'll let Carolyn talk. You've heard enough of me.
Well, so it was part of Mattoon in Motion,
Okay.
and it was just something Alex Benachek, he's now working with the city of Mattoon, but he came as an AmeriCorps fellow,
Yeah.
Anyway, to run Mattoon in Motion. And he had heard about this program in other communities, and the idea is that maybe you can't bring more factories or more businesses here, but maybe you can get those people who work for those businesses to come here as tax-paying consumers and people. That's the most important part. But yes, to make this successful, we needed people that would be buying houses and shopping. And so we just had a pilot program with 5 families, and it was really a lot of fun. I didn't think it was going to be as much fun as it was because we interviewed every single applicant that we weeded out the ones that did not meet our criteria. We had strict criteria. You had to be a remote worker, live farther than 100 miles. You had to promise to, sign a contract that you'd stay here for 2 years and you'd buy or rent a home in Mattoon. So we were able to weed some out, but we interviewed all these people and just had various conversations. I feel like we met all these people all across the country, and we did. And we just brought our 5th family here. It really worked well, and we think that all of these people really seem to love the community. What happens with a lot of them, like the last ones that came, they came from Southern California, and they bought a house here, and they said they could never afford to buy a house where they were at. So they were so excited to be able to buy a house, and I think they told Ed that roughly what they paid, here, they would have paid like 3 times that. They would have paid almost $1 million for a house where they were at, and they're excited about the smaller town. All of them pretty much cited safety coming here. It was a little bit safer than where they were at, and the community. One of the things we did when we interviewed these people is we always asked them, we told them what we thought liked the best about the community.
Yeah.
And the thing I always said was the people. I said, we have a really great community, but these are really caring, giving people in this community. And I think all of them have mentioned when they came that, they really felt welcome. So it's been a great
we've had
program.
16 people total come out of those 5 families, so they brought their kids and things. So it's just been so rewarding. And every single one of them has said how wonderful it is to live here, how the cost of living is so nice, the school system's so nice, they feel safer. And it's so nice having the people from, we had one from Southern California, we've had a couple from Texas, one from Pennsylvania, one from New York. So we've been able to bring people from all over the country to, and then so it gives you a little extra chance of having diverse people so that they can, get their culture and you can understand what they've been through and how much they enjoy our community. So it's just been a wonderful
This program has gotten publicity in national publications.
That's awesome.
Like the Chicago Tribune and the New
Wall
York
Street-
Times,
Wall
Wall
Street
Street
Journal,
Journal. So it's put the name Mattoon out there all over the
Even
country.
Forbes,
So
yeah.
everyone wants to live in Mattoon now.
As long as they pronounce it right.
That's right, yeah.
One of my, pet peeves.
Yes.
With all this good news going on, Big Lots came out with a national story story this past week that they're going to close a lot of stores. Looks like Mattoon is not on that list,
Yes.
even though rumors were running rampant last week. But if you looked at the list and did any research, Mattoon's not on it. But still a concern because it's another one of those neat kind of stores we get to have here in the Mattoon area.
Yeah, well, so what's really nice, and I used to run the Staples in Mattoon. Now it closed after I left, but and it wasn't anything to do with sales. But what's really neat is what people don't realize is we draw from such a big area. We draw from 50-mile radius. In fact, when I was at Staples, more than 50% of our sales weren't from Mattoon and Charleston. They were from the surrounding area. So I think that's what's good about Big Lots is they draw from such a big area. I think, and all the stores in our community seem to do a lot better than, stores that are, have another store 8 miles away or, 5 miles away, like in big cities. So I think that's why our stores are able to stay open. If you remember, Penny's, it did eventually close, but it did stay open a lot longer than most because of that reason. So
one of the other issues is finding enough workers for all these new businesses open up. How are you working with the city, Mattoon in Motion, maybe even Charleston or Effingham, to get workers to want to take these jobs and come to Coles County?
Yeah, so one of the big things is not just the workers, but housing. And Carolyn, they have a
Housing and
huge
daycare,
housing
yeah.
committee, and I don't know if you want to mention some of the.
Well, it's so housing, that's a problem
Yeah.
everywhere. And we have a committee that's been very active, and there's lots of great ideas. A lot of them have come from Alex Benachek, I have to say. But
And he's coming on the show in a few weeks,
Okay,
too.
yes.
yeah.
Well, so he'll talk about a lot of
Yeah.
that, I'm sure. But he had some great ideas. And people really want to see this work. And so there's people from all sorts of industry. There's contractors, there's realtors, there's, I'm on it, Alex is on it, the city's on it. So there's just a lot of things in the works. One of the things we did was join a land bank, which allows the city to take possession of rundown properties a lot faster, cut through a lot of the red tape, and get them back out there and in use with contractors. And that's huge. We did a survey of every single home in Mattoon just to assess the what the status of it was.
Yeah.
And there were 900 homes that were in really bad shape and really needed to have something done. So that's a lot of homes when you are short on homes. If you can do something with those properties, that's huge.
So they even have someone scheduled to build a 56-unit apartment complex, which would be fantastic, and it wouldn't be that far from the complex. So that could be a potential for these people.
And it's a higher end.
Yeah, higher end complex. And one thing we found with Mattoon in Motion, some people turned us down because of housing. So we need to find housing for these workers. It's great to have these workers, and it is a need, but we have to find housing for these workers too. So that's one of the big things. And then we're hoping that possibly a lot of these places are going to be able to have part-time. You can work part-time, you can work flex shifts and things like that, especially the retail. And so we're hoping that, we have Lakeland, we have Eastern, and there's a lot of influx of kids who hopefully, will be able to work part-time. So, that's one advantage we have over a lot of communities. We have two higher education establishments that can really help with that. But it's going to be a challenge to get these all filled, all the positions.
A couple of other things I've noticed. Lots more live music in Mattoon. How do you feel about that? And some great concerts at either bars or the city or Bagel Fest or.
It's phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
Just because the downtown is coming back to life, I feel like there's the Celebrate events. Now there's the Bagel Bites, which is live music. House Brothers is doing fantastic. And if anybody has not seen House Brothers and those murals, you really need to see it. They're beautiful. They're very patriotic, beautiful murals.
And the
But
castle just had a big. Sorry.
Yeah, and the castle is
Express,
it's
yeah.
been purchased by some people that really they want to make it the old neighborhood bar again, and they want to have outdoor events. So it's just there's so much going on.
Bagel Bites, the first year they had it went very, very well. They had a lot of different bands there, a lot of people participating. And of course, Rural King has really invested a lot in the community. On August 10th, they're having their Harvest of Hope, which had, I think, over 5,000 people attend last year. It's a way to give back to the community, and that's just a wonderful event. And of course, Bagel Fest, we had a lot of neat bands. We had the Journey Revolution. Yeah, and they did a wonderful job. So yeah, it's just great that there's so many different opportunities for people to enjoy music and to enjoy being outside and being in the community. So
On your website, it also says Mattoon is a gig-a-town.
yeah.
Tell us what that means and what's
The
that
gig
about.
town. Well, it just means that we have.
So I thought that was all about the music too.
Well, no, actually, it's about internet. So it's about Fidium Fiber. Or we are a town that we have. I can't remember exactly what their criteria was.
1 gigabyte in every single home. And again, that was huge for us because a lot of the people who wanted to move to Mattoon, they said we need
particularly remote workers.
remote workers. They need the fastest internet possible. And what a rewarding opportunity to have consolidated communications in our community, have the opportunity to have fiber, in such a small rural community. And it's just fantastic for everybody.
So it's a
that's
designation not necessarily for Consolidated, but for a town that has that
That's cool.
ability.
Yeah.
No, it's great news. We have about 3 minutes left today talking to Ed and Carolyn from the Mattoon Chamber of Commerce. If someone wants to register for the Run for the Fallen, should they pre-register? Is that the best way to do it? Or just show
Well,
up?
we really prefer it if they want to walk for a specific person, so we can make sure we have a card. A lot of the local people, we generally have 20 people will come and walk for them, but you can register at the event. But we have a website, IllinoisRunForTheFallen.com, and you can go there and register.
Okay. Okay, a couple minutes left. Anything else that's going on that you want to talk about? Fall events, any other things coming on after the expo that you'll be putting on?
Well, I guess, like I said, hopefully we're going to have our community update breakfast at the new sports complex facility. And, we think that'll be well attended. It'll be the first opportunity, I think, for a lot of the community members to see the sports connection. So, real excited about that. Of course, can't wait till all the different restaurants open. We got the Chick-fil-A, Chipotle. Your kids said Chipotle.
Yeah.
And then Texas Roadhouse won't
Panda
be this year,
Express.
but it'll be next year. And then Panda Express, so, and then, of course, all the Kohl's. And I always forget this one, but the ladies always remind me. How's it?
Ulta.
Ulta. I'm not familiar
That
with that.
makeup
But
and stuff, right?
yeah. I'm like you, but they say, no, you got to talk about Ulta. I'm like, okay.
There you
It's
go.
like.
So, all right, we'll do world famous last questions then. All right, we'll go Carolyn first, then Ed. Favorite summer beverage?
Lemonade.
Arnold Palmer's, which is lemonade and tea mix. Yes.
Favorite all-time athlete?
Oh.
Lou Gehrig.
Roberto Clemente.
First pet and what was the name?
It was a Cocker Spaniel named Trixie.
I had a Lab Beagle mix named Licorice.
There you go. Sport you are watching in the Olympics or plan to watch?
Probably none.
I've always loved the women's gymnastics.
There you go.
I think those are great.
Do you like spicy food? Yes or no?
Yes.
No,
right.
I used to. Now that I'm old, I can't.
Last movie you saw at the theater?
Oh.
I just saw Something to Stand For by Mike Rowe.
Ditto. I thought it was fantastic.
Would you parachute, jump from an airplane?
If somebody was strapped to me, yes. I would not do it by myself.
not
Somebody
solo.
that knew what they were doing.
I can barely get in an airplane, let alone jump from one. So.
Right there with you, my man. Did you get to go, or are you planning on any vacation spots this year, Carolyn?
I plan on going, hopefully, to the World War II Museum in
And my wife and I are going to Southern Illinois. We're going to see the Garden of the Gods, and we're going to stay there for a week. Next week, actually. I didn't even tell you. Carolyn's excited. She gets the place all to herself.
A vacation for Ed is a vacation for me. I always tell people
Thank
that.
you both for being here today. We are WEIU.